Hello, Bobby. You've just finished 5 light sessions with Richard with the God helmet, and the objective was to basically make a big difference in your health. Well, tell us what you do and what your health condition was when you first came to see Richard.
Look, I work in mining, fly in, fly out, 2 weeks on, 1 week off, highly intensive, high risk environment, dealing and handling with a lot of explosives and chemicals. Very long, arduous days in heat-stress conditions. My condition was quite poor when I arrived. Very low in energy, cloudy judgment, just felt generally lost and fatigued. This is day 5, or my last session. I feel totally different, absolutely calm, composed, more focused, more determined to get back to work and make a very big difference in my life. Diet has been a challenge. I've made some sweeping changes there, but I just felt something was lacking, and I think this is a major key to my health and well-being overall.
Excellent. Well, when you first came, your results on the HeartQuest monitor, right, were really low. So the 2 indicators here are your resting pulse, which is at 91 beats per minute, which is pretty high, and we had your complex peak performance at 5% out of 100.
Wow.
So that was the condition you were when you first came.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's definitely below poor.
Right. And after just the first light session, we had your resting pulse drop from 91 to 88, and your complex health performance went from 5 to 33%. This is just after the first light session. And you remember noticing a tangible difference after the first light session?
I did. I felt a shift. I felt some sort of internal change, a wind of change, if you want to call it that. And I wanted more. I was wondering, how far can we go with this?
Okay. So the next part of the story is the next morning after you went away and you did the protocol that Richard showed you, your resting pulse dropped down to 77 beats. So we went from 91 to 88 down to 77, and your complex health condition kicked up to 54%. Now that's just overnight after 1 light session. So remember that?
I do. That was a turning point for me. Reaching that tipping point where your intentions and your belief about it getting well turns into knowledge. You know now. You don't believe anymore. You know that things are happening in a positive way, and it's only going to get better, so long as you follow the protocols as explained.
Now, after the second light session, your resting pulse went up a little bit because of stimulation, but your complex health condition went up to 82% after the second light session. Wasn't that another big shift up?
Look, it was because I'm relatively new to all this. From what I've been told, that's the biggest shift that anyone's seen in someone, and I'm absolutely going with the flow and just following all the instructions to the letter.
Now, on the 3rd morning, you came in before the light session and we measured your resting pulse at 75, the lowest you've had. And your complex health performance was 65%, because usually what happens is straight after the light session, over the next day it tends to drop. And so that's what happened when you first came in. And then after the light session, it went up a little bit to 77%, but we actually had a whole lot of other indicators improve, which I won't go into at this point in time. Then yesterday morning when you turned up, your pulse was at 77, so we've had a stability around the 70s in terms of your pulse rate, and your complex health condition is 63%. This is in the morning before your light session. And then after your light session, because of the stimulation, your complex peak performance health condition went down a little bit at 65%, but your resting pulse dropped to 72. And again, we had a shift at this point in time. And today Today when you rocked up, okay, before the light session, we had your resting pulse at 70 and your complex health condition peak performance at 91%. So how does that rock you?
That's amazing. I thought 91% out of what, 200 or
100.
what's the metric?
It's 100.
But out of 100, that's I'm up there at the very top. I'm up there at the very top. I didn't think this would be possible, and I can feel the shift. I'm feeling a lot lighter, a lot more energetic, and yet at the same token, a lot relaxed.
Okay, so after the light session, we had your complex health condition peak performance drop to 82%, but your resting pulse dropped to 65 beats a minute, the lowest ever.
I wasn't envisaging, a resting heart rate of lower than 70, but when I saw that figure, it just resonated with me, just confirmed exactly how I'm feeling internally.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what we're going to do now is you're going to go back to work on Thursday in arduous conditions, and the expectation is that you will cope better with that than you've ever had. Then when you come back end of December after 2 rotations for another lift up, that'll lift your base level health and performance to another level. And when you implement the changes and strategies in terms of your workplace, you should be able to survive and cope with work at a whole lot better, higher level than you have been in the past. How's that?
Absolutely, and I'm looking forward to documenting this journey as well for the record.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.